Now, live on WPRI 12 and on WPRI.com. This is Eyewitness News This Morning. Coverage you can count on.
5 o'clock Thursday morning, Providence teenager facing charges after a carjacking leads to a high-speed chase ending with this crash 14 miles away.
Also had changes to the Sickout Middle School, making safety its top priority after some staffers staged a Sickout. We'll have new reaction this morning. Hey, good morning. It's now 5 a.m. on this Thursday, February the 7th. I'm Danielle North.
Good morning, I'm Patrick. A little damp Thursday morning. Here's Michelle with the detailed look at what we can expect weather-wise today.
It is now 5:02, and some safety changes are going to be coming to a local middle school about a week after teachers and staff staged a Sickout.
So they wanted to highlight their concerns about what was happening inside Sickout Middle School. Julian Lima live in Warren this morning with a look at those changes and new reaction this morning.
Well, Danielle and Patrick, teachers here at Sickout Middle School say fights between students and behavioral problems are making the school unsafe for teachers and children alike. And now, starting today, a police officer will be stationed here at the middle school. This comes after last night's school committee meeting that lasted more than 4 hours. Now, dozens of teachers filled the auditorium, and they say there are too many fights and behavioral issues among students and not enough resources to deal with them. Sickout has never had a school resource officer, but last night, the school committee voted in favor of having a police officer stationed at the school at all times. They also directed the superintendent to get more therapeutic services for the school, and they voted to form a subcommittee to discuss the issues further. New this morning, we're hearing from the co-president of the teachers union, who says they're happy with these first steps coming out of last night's meeting.
We're pleased that there'll be a police officer in place. I know that the ultimate goal is to have an SRO in place, but right now, in the meantime, I do think that it will be a good thing for all the kids and teachers and everybody in the building.
Now, the subcommittee plans to meet on Monday and then report its findings to the full school committee a little later this month. So far this year, police have been called to this middle school more than a dozen times. We'll take an in-depth look at some of those reasons coming up a little later in the show. Reporting live in Warren, I'm Julianne Lima, Eyewitness News.
Providence teenager, one of 2 people arrested after carjacking and police chase that ended with the stolen car crashing.
All right, so you can see the crash site behind us. This happening in Norton yesterday. Eyewitness News reporter Alexander Leslie's in studio with the details of how it all unfolded, and that's new this morning.
Well, police say an 82-year-old man was walking to his car in the parking lot of this Brockton candy store when 2 young males jumped the fence, hit him in the face, and then stole his car. Pinpoint News Tracker shows you the scene of this ensuing police chase. It reached speeds of up to 100 miles per hour down Route 24 and onto 495, and it ended with suspects crashing 14 miles away in Norton. But before that, Brockton police say a Good Samaritan claimed he chased the suspects to a nearby street and managed to get the victim's key fob back to the victim. Now, police say that person left the scene and was ruled out as a suspect. Eventually, Mass State Police began a pursuit down Route 24. Now, that ended in Norton when the suspects clipped a tree and rolled over. The pair tried to flee on foot, but police were able to catch up with them. Residents nearby say the whole thing is sad, especially attacking an elderly man.
Because that could have been my grandparents, you know, but it's just sad.
That's awful, especially if you're like a little kid, like hitting on someone older than you, so that's inappropriate.
Now, before this all happened, police say the pair escaped early yesterday morning from the Department of Youth Services. Both teens were taken to the hospital to be treated for minor injuries from that crash. The 17-year-old from Providence and a 16-year-old from Holbrook, Mass. both face criminal charges. Reporting live in studio, I'm Alexandra Leslie, Eyewitness News.
Time now is 5:06, and take a look at this scene. Wall of flames shooting into the air, burning buildings in San Francisco. Firefighters on the scene for hours trying to put out this massive blaze. It was actually caused by a gas line explosion. There were no injuries, but we can tell you that workers did this after they hit a gas line while installing some fiber optic lines. At first, officials say that 5 workers were missing, but thankfully they were all found safe. The fire damaged 5 mixed-use buildings. Crews also had to go door to door to evacuate people in a 1-block area while PG&E worked to turn off the gas.
Massachusetts highest court upholds the involuntary manslaughter conviction of a woman who encouraged her boyfriend to kill himself in text messages. As we reported, Michelle Carter of Plainville was convicted of causing Conrad Roy's suicide in 2014. Her attorneys were appealing the juvenile court decision. State Supreme Court ruled there was sufficient evidence to convict her. Carter's attorneys say they will consider a possible appeal to the U.S. Supreme Court.
Looking ahead now, according to the Bristol County DA, in the next few days, we may know when Carter will actually begin her jail time. She was set to be incarcerated for 15 months of the 2.5-year sentence that was imposed. The rest of the sentence will be suspended, followed by 5 years of probation. And we know that the DA's office will be filing a motion to have that stay of the sentence revoked. 5:07 when we come back on Eyewitness News this morning.
Local man arraigned in a cold case murder. We'll tell you how police were led right to him nearly 6 years later.
And the commuter rail hits a ridership record this week on the day of the Patriots Victory Parade. We'll have new details coming your way next.
Former State Senator Nicholas Kettle has pleaded no contest to video voyeurism charges. As part of the plea deal, he was given a 3-year suspended sentence, meaning he'll avoid jail time if he stays out of trouble. Kettle still facing extortion charges in a separate case. He's pleaded not guilty to those charges.
Eyewitness News moving to the West Bay Mobile Newsroom now, where a judge has denied bail for 33-year-old Michael Soares, the suspect in a nearly 6-year-old murder case. He's charged with first-degree murder in the 2013 killing of Jack Fay. He was found inside of a trash barrel in a Warwick City park. Warwick police say DNA evidence played a major part in finally arresting the suspect, and we're going to have more details on exactly how it led to his arrest straight ahead at 5:30.
Coming up on Eyewitness News this morning.
After this break.
Everything was packed. It was a nightmare.
There was a little bit of a commuter chaos earlier this week after the Patriots Parade had record turnout. It all overwhelmed the train and subway system. We'll tell you how the MBTA attempted to think ahead.
Plus, right place at the right time. After the face of Boston, the mayor thinks fast to save a man with car trouble.
You're watching Eyewitness News, coverage you can count on.
Now, Eyewitness Sports.
Well, 3 weeks ago in Washington, D.C., the PC Friars went to face the Georgetown Hoyas. Well, that's a look at sports on this Thursday morning. In the studio, I'm Maury Hirsch-Gordon, Eyewitness Sports.
5:23 now on this Thursday, still ahead on Eyewitness News.
JCPenney trying to reinvent itself again, this time switching their focus to clothing. Details of the major cuts the company's making.
And Walgreens agreeing to fork over $2 million for 2 different lawsuits. We'll tell you what the drugstore chain is accused of doing locally when we come back.
Consumer coverage now. JCPenney is getting rid of appliances and most furniture. They want to focus on clothing.
Yeah, the company says the change is going to help improve their financial performance. The retailer is $4 billion in debt and actually hasn't turned a profit since 2010. The changes will take effect at the end of the month, and the company's also considering closing stores to continue to cut costs. Furniture will then only be sold online.
Massachusetts Attorney General has entered into 2 settlement agreements with Walgreens, resolving allegations that the drugstore chain overcharges Mass Health for prescriptions. Walgreens has agreed to pay more than $770,000 for allegedly submitting claims to Mass Health, with drug prices much higher than they actually were. Walgreens will also pay $1.4 million for falsifying claims for insulin reimbursements to Mass Health.
Now we want to let you know which local companies are now hiring, as Eyewitness News has teamed up with the Department of Labor and Training. And today we want to pass along another local job opening. Advantage Resourcing holding a recruitment for some manufacturing positions. The event is scheduled to begin at 10 o'clock this morning at the Network RI Career Center in Providence. If you'd like to find out more, employri.org is the place to go. 824-882 is the job number, or our website. You can also find the details there if you click on Call for Action and then Job Finder.
Almost 5:30, more local coverage coming up on Eyewitness News.
A Sickout staged at a local middle school over concerns of safety and student behavior. More on the teachers' union motives after this break.
You're watching Eyewitness News on WPRI 12 on a damp Thursday morning. It's coverage you can count on.
This is Eyewitness News this morning. Coverage you can count on.
New details this morning on the arrest made in that nearly 6-year-old murder case in Warwick. More on how DNA sampling led police right to their suspect.
Plus, putting safety first, the middle school making changes to highlight concerns in the building after staging a Sickout.
And I saw Gronk in the duck boat behind. I went over to go see him, put it up in the air, and it went missing.
Oh, gone in a flash. A Patriots superfan's 17-year-old jersey has gone missing. Now she wants the person who took it to return it to its rightful owner.
Good morning. It is Thursday, February 7th. I'm Patrick Little.
And I'm Danielle North. We want to check in with Michelle. Kind of a dismal start to this Thursday morning, Michelle.
Top local story at 5:30, tracking the latest on concerns for safety at a local middle school in the Bristol-Warren School District.
So it all came to a head last week when a large number of the Kickamuit middle school teachers called out sick, and that forced school to be canceled last Friday. Beginning today, though, there are some new policies that are going to be in place at that school.
Eyewitness News reporter Julianne Lima live in Warren this morning with those new details.
Well, one of those changes will be a police officer stationed at the school starting today. Teachers here at Kickamuit say there's too much violence and not enough resources at the middle school. They say this makes for an unsafe and unproductive learning environment. Last night's school committee meeting lasted more than 4 hours. A dozen teachers testified, saying unruly student behavior and lack of resources is making the school unsafe. Warren police say they've been called to Kickamuit 18 times so far this school year, including 4 times for fighting and twice for possession of a knife. The school committee voted last night and came away with 3 major changes. The first, a police officer must now be present at the school at all times. Second, they're forming a subcommittee to further discuss the issues and possible solutions. And third, they directed the superintendent to get additional therapeutic resources for the school as soon as possible.
Together, I think that everybody now understands the sense of urgency that we have here at Kickamuit Middle School to help all of our students to have a well-disciplined, well-organized school and place to learn and flourish.
And that subcommittee is already set to meet on Monday. They'll then present their full findings to the full school committee a little later this month on February 25th. Reporting live in Warren, I'm Julianne Lima, Eyewitness News.
I want to bring you the latest developments now on yesterday's top story, that arrest made in a 2013 murder case in Warwick.
Taking a closer look at how police were able to track down the suspect and why it may have people who have gotten away with murder for years now looking over their shoulders.
And Eyewitness News reporter Alexander Leslie is in the studio to explain.
So back in 2018, Warwick police began what would eventually become the major breakthrough, which led to identifying and arresting a suspect. 33-year-old Michael Soares was ordered held without bail at his arraignment yesterday. Now, later, police told us they hired a genealogical research firm, Identifinders International. Now, this made it so police got access to public DNA databases and traced DNA from the crime scene to a suspect. After a search warrant and cheek swab, the Department of Health confirmed to police it was Soares' DNA left in blood at the crime scene and under Faye's fingernails. The suspect's DNA was not in the criminal database because he had no criminal record, but they were able to match it through a distant cousin of Soares who had used a consumer DNA testing kit. Even with the arrest, police addressed the Faye family, saying that the investigation is far from over.
We will not stop in this investigation until we come to a complete end. And I can tell you these detectives here have worked tirelessly throughout these years. We never once gave up. I can ask you to accept my apologies for not solving it sooner, and I'm sorry for that. But I promise you one day we will tell you every detail.
Now, despite the arrest of a suspect, police tell us a motive for Faye's killing remains unclear. If you have any information on Soares or this crime, police say you can call or contact them through their website or Facebook page. Reporting live in studio, I'm Alexandra Leslie, Eyewitness News.
Following up now, after some Cranston residents lost their gas service yesterday morning, National Grid telling us they worked all through the night to restore service to the 200 customers or so who lost it. It happened at about 11:30 yesterday when a contractor accidentally hit a gas line in the area of Arrow Way and Elton Circle. Utility company tells us it completed repairs to the gas line overnight.
State has signed off on the next phase of a massive effort to clean up Narragansett Bay. We've learned the Department of Environmental Management and the Narragansett Bay Commission signed a consent agreement late last month to move forward with the final phase of a project that will stop polluted water from flowing into the bay. The price tag for the remaining work, $779 million.
It is now 5:37 on your Thursday. Still ahead on Eyewitness News this morning.
Maryland principal removed from his school after a video surfaced appearing to show a physical altercation with a student.
And an inmate facing new charges after his bold plan to escape through the ceiling fails. It was all caught on camera, and now he's back to where he started.
You're watching Eyewitness News on WPRI 12. It's coverage you can count on.
Eyewitness News covering America. A Maryland high school principal is on leave after a video surfaced appearing to show him in a fight with a student.
Shocking videos posted on social media, of course, went viral. District officials had to take action. According to a school statement, situation being called an alleged physical altercation between the two. States the principal is on leave until further notice. An investigation is ongoing.
Also caught on camera, an inmate's escape attempt came to a painful end when he fell through an Indiana jailhouse ceiling. The man had decided to make a run for it, and he cut across the fingerprint room, and then he got stuck and tangled in wires. Officers tased him while he was literally dangling over the floor. He was treated at the hospital and charged with criminal mischief and escape. 5:41 now. When we come back on Eyewitness News this morning.
What should have been an exciting day turned out to be heartbreaking for one Patriots fan, how a jersey signed by two players suddenly went missing during Tuesday's parade. Checking last night's scores, PC Friars lost to Georgetown 76-67. They are now 9th in the Big East. URI lost to A-10 leading Davidson 68-53. And in hockey, Bees fell to the Rangers in a shootout at Madison Square Garden. 5:45. Quick check of today's top local stories.
Suspect in an almost 6-year-old murder case in Warwick had his day in court. Judge denying bail, though, for 33-year-old Michael Storrs. He's charged with first-degree murder in the killing of Jack Fay. He was found in 2013 in a trash barrel in Warwick City Park. Warwick police say that DNA evidence played a huge part in finally arresting a suspect in the case.
Bristol Warren School Committee discussed the solutions after having to close Kickamuit Middle School last week for a day because of a teacher sickout. Teachers had complained of safety issues during the school day because of some unruly student behavior. Teachers say there are too many fights, behavioral issues among students, not enough resources to deal with them. Warren police say they have been called to the school 18 times this year.
Former State Senator Nicholas Kettle pleading no contest to video voyeurism charges as part of the plea deal. He was given a 3-year suspended sentence. That means he'll avoid jail time if he stays out of trouble. He is still facing extortion charges in a separate case. He's pleaded not guilty to those charges.
Patriots superfan didn't let her injury get in the way of going to the rolling rally on Tuesday.
And she got a pretty lucky spot on the parade route. This is Katie, and she has to use a walker, but she was decked out in Patriots flair. Earlier this week, her joy turned to heartbreak, though, after her signed jersey from that day got lost in the crowd. And now she's asking for it back.
Michaela McDonald has a story that's new this morning.
Danielle and Patrick, we were set up at the beginning of the parade route the other day, and it was just unbelievable how many people were there. You really couldn't even move on the sidewalk. And it was in all of that chaos that a longtime Patriots fan's jersey disappeared. And Katie Pitsley from Taunton is a big-time Pats fan. You can see that from her walker wrapped in the Patriots gear, all the way down to her nails, which are painted with the numbers 12 and 87. And she told our Boston affiliate that she brought her Tom Brady jersey with her to the parade on Tuesday. She was able to have Stephon Gilmore and Devin McCourty sign it, but when she was trying to get Gronk's autograph, the jersey that she had for 17 years was lost.
I saw Gronk in the duck boat behind. I went over to go see him, put it up in the air, and it went missing. I know there was 1.5 million people there, but if it was handed to them by accident or if they found it, please return it. It means a lot to me.
And Pitsley is hoping that someone has the jersey and will be able to get it back to her because of that sentimental value. It is a white 2002 Tom Brady jersey that's slightly faded, and it now has 2 autographs on it. Michaela McDonald, Eyewitness News.
Now, here's meteorologist Michelle Muscatello with your Pinpoint Weather 12 forecast.
Here's what's coming up on the road show this morning. The cocktail guru's back, whipping up some drinks to warm you up on a cold winter's day. Busy weekend in the Ocean States. We'll have a look at what's going on with your Eye on RI report. The road show is at 9 o'clock. You can see it right here on WPRI 12. More coverage you can count on when we come back on Eyewitness News this morning.
After the break, newlyweds cutting the cheese on their special day.
No. No.
Well, they didn't cut cake, we'll tell you that. We'll have the details of their non-traditional wedding dessert.
You're not talking about like Dutch ovens, are you?
Hopefully not on the first night.
New at 6. A lot of people trying to become drivers for Uber or Lyft, but you may be surprised to find out how many applications were rejected last year in Massachusetts alone.
The Stock Report is brought to you by White Cross Pharmacy. Local pharmacists, local people, delivering the med pack free to your door. Eyewitness News on WPRI 12 continues.
Let's clear up the newlyweds cutting the cheese. Brides and grooms-to-be that are going for a non-traditional route for their wedding now have more flavors of cake to choose from, like cheese, but it's not cheesecake. It's actual tiers of cheese wheels.
Yeah, so look at this. It's 24 pounds stacked up high, and it can feed up to 150 people. Costco is calling this the Cheese Lover Celebration Cake. It doesn't come pre-assembled, though. The wheels are individually wrapped in a shipping box, and they just stack them up, throw a couple of flowers on there, and there you go. $400 is the cost for the cheese cake. Would you get one?
No.
You just like the regular cake.
Unless it was all brie.
It has to be melted, though.
Melted brie with that, like, jam on it.
Oh, the chutney or whatever it is. With some crackers. Yeah, that's good stuff. All right. It's 5:56. Here's what we're following this morning at 6 a.m.
Providence teenager, one of two people accused in a carjacking, with the 82-year-old driver punched in the face. Also ahead.
Major changes starting today at a local middle school over safety concerns for teachers and students. I'm Julianne Lima in Warren with those details next at 6.
You'll need your raincoat just like Julianne this morning as we track showers, drizzle, and a dreary day ahead. My full forecast is coming up.